Hi, boys and girls. Sorry I'm late posting this, but I actually just got back from the school and I just got done packing up all of your stuff in bags and everything, so it'll be ready for you on pickup day. It was kind of sad to be there, but I miss you all. I'm going to start by reading Chapter 7, Part 1 of Runaway Ralph. And last chapter we read, Ralph has spotted his motorcycle and he's really, really excited and he is determined to get his motorcycle back. Okay, so Chapter 7 is called The Escape. Ralph was desperate to escape. His food supply was running low, and as Chum had predicted, Garf stayed away from the craft shop. Ralph ran around the sides of his cage, hoping that there might be an opening. One overlooked space wide enough for a mouse to squeeze through. There was none, as he had known all along. He pushed on the door with all of his strength, but he could not budge it. He ran on his wheel in hope that it might, just once, take him someplace, but of course it did not. Ralph needed help. "Hey, Chum," he called over to the hamster, who was noisily wearing down his teeth on the bars of his cage. "You're a stretchy fellow. See if you can stretch over here and pull this door open." For once, Chum obliged by putting his shoulders to the bars of his cage, stretching his foreleg as far as he could, and reaching with his paw. He barely managed to flick a wire of the side of Ralph's cage with a toenail. "There must be some way we can get out of here," said Ralph. "There's got to be." "Not for me," answered Chum. "I wouldn't leave if I could. I've lived in a cage all my life, and I'm too old to start scrounging. Besides, I'd rather enjoy trying to bite the hand that feeds me." "I would rather scrounge than starve," said Ralph. He still had a supply of food, but he pawed through some old sunflower seeds husks to make sure he had not missed any edible bits. Over in the dining hall, the campers, unaware that a mouse was soon to starve, sang with gusto. "The ants come marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants come marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants come marching 2 by 2, and the little ones stop to tie your shoe, hurrah, hurrah." As his food supply dwindled further, Ralph felt nervous and guilty. His mother had taught him to store food. The sight of the campers' mosaics made of dried peas and beans was hard to bear. He felt he would no longer object to a little dry glue on his food. When Chum managed to toss an alfalfa pellet into his cage, he was humbly grateful. Outside his cage, the campers went about their activities, unaware of the desperate mouse in the craft shop. Lana cradled Catso in her arms whenever she could catch him, and the smug look on the cat's face was unbearable to Ralph. Karen returned to paint her bleach bottle piggy bank. Everyone who passed her Everyone who passed her work table asked if her watch had been returned, and Karen, busy with her piggy bank, shook her head. That was something else that happened last chapter, was that Catsko stole Karen's watch and it's missing, but she thinks a person did it. All the campers do. Occasionally, Ralph's ears caught the familiar pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa, pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa, and he looked out to see Garf pushing his motorcycle across the bench or around the edge of the ping pong table. As if he were lost in a dream of speed and danger, the sight of his precious motorcycle made Ralph even more frantic for freedom. Hold on one second. There's nobody here. And then to add to his troubles, there was still Catsko, who had been only temporarily amused by the wristwatch and who would sooner or later, Ralph was sure, return to the cage. Ralph felt thin, nervous, and run down. His cage was untidy, even by mouse standards of housekeeping. "I wish I knew how to stage a jailbreak," he confided to Chum. "If there is anything I can do to help, let me know," said Chum, and cracked a sunflower seed he had earned that morning when he had stuffed his cheeks until he had fallen to the bottom of his cage. Chum might toss me a sunflower seed instead of those alfalfa pellets, thought Ralph crossly. At rest period, Aunt Jill came into the craft shop to straighten supply shelves. Ralph watched as she sorted dried seeds, which looked delicious, as well as weeds and pine cones. As he watched, he saw a possibility of help. After all, Aunt Jill, unlike most women, was kind to mice. Looking as small and as pitiful as possible, Ralph clung to the bars of his cage. In time, Aunt Jill noticed him. "Hello there, little fellow," she said kindly. Ralph made his whiskers quiver. "Let me out of here," he said, quite sure the woman could not understand. Aunt Jill smiled when she heard the mouse squeak and offered him a sunflower seed, which he snatched and cracked so greedily that he forgot to look pitiful. "My, but you're a hungry little fellow," remarked Aunt Jill, but she did not offer him another seed. Instead, when the camp awoke, she called to Garf, who came to the door of the craft shop, but did not enter. "Your mouse is hungry," said Aunt Jill. "Somebody else can feed him," said Garf. "He's your personal mouse," reminded Aunt Jill. "I didn't take that old watch," said Garf. "I don't want to come in there." "I am sure you didn't take it," said Aunt Jill calmly. "But don't forget that you wanted to be the only one to feed your mouse. He is hungry, and his cage needs to be cleaned." Garf hesitated, but entered the craft shop, and while Ralph scrambled around looking for a way out, he slid the bottom from the cage, changed the cedar shavings, and replaced it. He detached the water bottle, filled it at the sink, and was fastening it to the cage when Aunt Jill went out, leaving the boy alone with the two animals. Here at last was the moment Ralph had been waiting for. "Say, Garf," he began, but the boy, not expecting the mouse to speak, appeared not to hear. Ralph was desperate. "Say, Garf," he said at the top of his mouse voice. When Garf glanced at him, Ralph said as loud as he could, "Listen to me! You know that motorcycle you've been playing with? It's mine!" Garf stared at his mouse. "You're talking?" he said in an astonished whisper. "I don't believe it. You're talking?" Ralph had spoken, and Garf answered. They were both so excited they were speechless. Finally, Garf spoke again. "Go on, say something more." Ralph pulled himself together and remembered why speaking to Garf was urgent. "Pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa," he sputtered to show Garf what he meant. "That motorcycle, it's mine. Pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa. That's the noise I make to run it." "You're joking." Garf continued to stare at Ralph as if he could not believe what was happening. "No, I'm not," said Ralph. "I hid it under the bamboo leaves just before that cat pounced on me. I hid my crash helmet, too." "Your crash helmet?" Garf could not help laughing, which of course hurt Ralph's feelings. The boy pulled the motorcycle out of his pocket, studied it, and then studied Ralph. "It is the right size," he admitted. "If it's yours, where did you get it?" "Back at the Mountain View Inn." "The Mountain View Inn?" Garf was surprised. "What were you doing there?" "It is my home," said Ralph with dignity. "A boy who was a guest there gave me the motorcycle." "No kidding!" Garf almost believed Ralph. "Let me out of here," pleaded Ralph. "I'll show you I can ride it." Garf looked as if he were tempted, but said almost regretfully, "No, you might run away, and I want to keep you." "Aw, come on, Garf," coaxed Ralph. "No," said Garf, "and I've got to get out." "No," said Garf, "and I've got to get out of here. Aunt Jill just left to give me a chance to return that watch, and I don't have it. I don't know where it is." Ralph saw an opportunity for bargaining. "I do," he said. "I know where the watch is." "Where?" asked Ralph. "Let me out and I'll tell you," said Ralph. "No," said Garf. "I'm going to take you home with me." "Your mother won't like it," said Ralph. "She'll make you get rid of me." He knew by the look on Garf's face that he had struck a sensitive spot, so he continued, "She will say I am messy, and she will say I smell." Garf looked uncomfortable. "Let me out of here, and I'll show you where the watch is," persisted Ralph. Garf looked as if he might be tempted. He thought a while and said, "My mother might let me keep a mouse. It wouldn't hurt to ask, and I don't want to know where the watch is. If anyone saw me trying to return it, they would say I stole it, and I didn't." Ralph's hopes dwindled. "I know you didn't steal it," he said, "because I know who did." "Who?" Naturally, Garf was curious to know the name of the real thief. Ralph considered, should he tell or should he not tell? He decided that telling might convince Garf that he was trying to help him. "Ketsko," he said. "Ketsko the cat took it." Garf gave Ralph a look of disgust. "Now, I know you're lying." And I'm going to go ahead and stop there. You can comment on this video on what you think your prediction will happen in Chapter 7, Part 2. Have a great day. Bye, guys.